In this video, we'll explore the processing panel in more detail. To begin with, we'll look at the processing panel that's created when an unprocessed or raw FID is loaded into JSON. If the raw dataset contains a list of processing instructions, JSON will automatically create a processing list and apply it. You'll see that each step in the processing list has a checkbox. When this is selected, the processing step will be applied. The unticked entries in the list are common processing steps and are included as suggestions for the user. Ticking or unticking these boxes does not change the current processing. After any change, the user must always click the Apply button. In the event that a dataset does not have any processing included, JSON will create a default processing list based on the pulse sequence and use it to generate the data. Items on the processing list can be edited by clicking the down arrow in the right-hand corner. For instance, we can change the apodization to either enhance the resolution of our spectrum or to boost the signal to noise. Apodization also has an expert mode. This allows a more experienced user to specify the exact filter required for their data. Processing steps can be added or removed from the list using the Edit List button. This brings up the Edit Processing interface. To add a new step to the processing list, the user simply has to select from the available steps and drag it to the selected list. The placement of the processing steps in the list depends on the mode selected by the user. In the recommended mode, JSON will automatically place an item in the most appropriate position in the list. The Warn on Issues mode allows the user to place an item anywhere in the list. However, if it detects a potential clash or problem with the positioning, it will give the user a warning. Free Placement mode allows the user to place any processing step wherever they like in the list. An item can be removed from the processing list by simply selecting it and pressing delete. Once the editing has been completed, the editing processing list can be closed and the processing list will be amended. Pressing Apply applies all the processing steps. The user can also check the effect of the processing list on their data at different points in the processing list by using the drop-down selection box at the bottom of the panel. For instance, we're now in full processing mode that allows us to see the effect of all the processing steps. The user can look at their raw data. They can look at the raw data including any time domain processing prior to the Fourier transform. They can look at their data directly after the Fourier transform. And finally, they can look at the full processing list. If we load a data set that has been processed prior to loading it into JSON, we can see that the processing list has an extra section. At the top of the panel, we can see a list of processing steps that were previously applied to the raw data to create the data we've loaded. Below this is an empty processing list, which can be populated using the Edit List button. For instance, we may want to inverse Fourier transform the spectrum, allowing us to perform a new apodization, some zero filling, and finally apply a Fourier transform. So we can look at these steps one at a time. So first we've applied the inverse Fourier transform. Then to this new FID we apply the apodization. I can change the zero filling to a new level. And finally apply the Fourier transform. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it useful. For more information about JSON, please visit our website www.jailjason.com, where you can find links to other videos and start your free trial.